Let's pinpoint what you and I can accomplish for the Order. I shall allow myself a moment of relief. Moment passed. I'd hoped killing the cultists was its own reward. But you may also take this. You've proven yourself well, but we have recently experienced a pivotally important, unforeseen development. One I must meet directly. Can I count on you? One of the satellites comprising the Hyperion web was struck by a wayward craft and crashed on Paradise Island. I need someone to recover an informational component from it. The web is an Order-crafted network of information collection satellites. Our would-be Protectorate overlords squandered them as glorified surveillance devices. We actually implanted a backdoor in the web to bring it back under our control, should a circumstance like this arise. But we did not foresee certain Protectorate modifications. But let's not speak of that. Find a way past the Protectorate at the crash site, collect the data, and return it here. Violence is likely, but perhaps you'll find an alternative. Collect the data from the crashed site and return it here. May the odds prevail against your bloody demise.
If you mean to ally with the Order, reckon I can't blame you. You and I could only exert so much influence over Auntie's choice. And it's obvious they can't help themselves. More importantly, it's becoming clear to me that folk don't actually want us here. Westport resisted as long as they could. You think that doesn't extend to the rest of the populace? There is another option. The Order. They're trying to do right by the refugees, after all, and seem reasonable when they ain't being strong-armed by extremists. You could consider them. The battles will continue, whether or not you're paying mind. If you ain't careful, you might find yourself surrounded without an ally. Listen, normally I'd take issue with one person playing Kingmaker. That is to say, you, and especially the Earth Directorate. But time's too short, and the stakes are too high for tribalism. There'll be enough time for that later. For now, we need to ally with someone who can defeat the Protectorate and close the rifts. So whatever you decide, I'll support you. We should move on, unless you got something for me? The Order's really got some nerve, acting all superior over Auntie's choice. They mock us for our experiments, but here they are, drugging their own folk en masse. Ain't any different from us in the end. Though, guess it really goes to show the power of public relations, huh?
I look forward to the reclamation of the Hyperion web. Hopefully you shall facilitate that. Now, how might we be of use to one another? Yes! Excellent! Take that, reductionists! Your horrid little surveillance devices shall finally be used for what their purpose should have been! Don't tell anyone about that outburst, please. Here's something to keep you quiet. Yes, you've earned not only my trust, but the Order's as well. I hope you'll continue working with us in the future. I've informed the presiding bishop you're coming to speak with her. She can be found in the room off the main stairwell. I'm sure I don't need to say this, but if you even think about bringing harm to Ruth, I shall know. Be on your very, very best behavior.
Your admittance to the Chamber of Conflict Evaluation and Strategic Planning may come at a later date, as determined by the Office of the Oracle Laureate.
Good to see you again. I had hoped we could speak earlier, but no matter. A little time remains. You are a crucial variable in the solution to a critical problem. Since the unfortunate end of the peace talks, Gertie and I have kept in communication, and we believe it is still possible to get the Order and Auntie's Choice to work together. When you go in to speak with the presiding bishop, please raise the issue with her. I assure you this is the correct thing to do, for yourself, for us, for Arcadia. Farewell. I would say good luck, but I put no stock in chance, only probability. May the plan favor us against long odds.
The Order has always proclaimed patience as a virtue, but I am pleased my waiting is finally at its endpoint. For so long, you have only existed as numerical values on a chart. A bright star in a constellation of possibilities, as it were. Now, with your arrival, the Order nears the totality of its goals, provided you are willing to stay aligned with our cause. Prudent. Now then, I gather you already know who I am, but science has shown that good manners strengthen developing relationships by 5.3%. So, allow me to introduce myself. I am Ruth Bassar, third presiding bishop of the Order of the Ascendant, supreme calculator, and, plan willing, the architect of Arcadia's prosperous future. My sensory deprivation chamber. I spend the majority of my days closed inside the silence, dulling myself against the tedious excesses of the body and mind. Want no longer factors into my decisions, but I can see how that might confuse one of such spirited bearing. I am using the chamber to prepare for a test of significant endurance. I think it best to leave the discussion there for now. I admit, when I sent my initial message, I did not exactly know who its recipient would be, but I trusted the plan. And lo and behold, it provided you as the solution. Your recent exploits at Greater Tranquility Station have certainly made for compelling reading material. Confronting an assassin, and thereby sparing the delegates' lives before the rift inexplicably destroyed the station? Such a commendable effort is worthy of acknowledgement. Yes. By all reports, it was. But the plan evidently has greater outcomes prepared for Vicar Levin. He is, at that. I consider him a close personal friend, and I cannot say that about many. However, there's something of even greater import we must discuss. It's recently come to my attention that secret communications have been exchanged between Laplace's garden and the undisputed claim. Do you know anything about that? I should have known. Vicar Levin has made this appeal to me at least thrice since his return. He really cannot accept a solution he did not devise. Levin's methodology is usually faultless, and it would be a pity to scrap so much fine preparatory work. I will put the question to you one final time. Are you certain you would rather pursue this path than work exclusively with the Order? There will be no future option to reconsider. Then I will endeavor to bring that vision to fruition, if the plan wills it. A true in-person meeting between myself and Auntie could never take place due to the security risks. But perhaps a remote conference could be a viable alternative. The odds of you persuading Auntie Cleo to agree are unfavorable. But the math does improve if you have greater standing within her corporation. Once you have met with Auntie, instruct her to send me a communique. We can finesse the details of a conference then. My time is yours, for the moment. Oh, the Laureate Council simply draws a name out of a hat. Serious study does not preclude a sense of humor, though apparently being an Earth Directorate agent does. In reality, I was recommended for my position by the preceding bishop. Paired with my skills as a seer, I was the natural choice when it came time for the council to vote. My predecessor, presiding Bishop Orlo, and I had a close working relationship. He knew I possessed the skills and temperament for the role. I counted him a friend. Orlo shared with me his doubts about the Order's partnership with the Protectorate, the compromises made. He had many such regrets at the end of his life. Likely not, but it is the responsibility of every student to surpass their mentor in understanding and sentiment. and I can reliably assert that I have done that. Call it proof of concept. Laplace's garden is more than its aesthetic. It offers a vision of a future free from the despotic rule of narrow-minded jingoists, where the fruit of the plan can finally ripen. It saddens me to see the garden so despoiled by our wartime presence. But with the loss of Spirton, necessity dictated we quarter here in the interim. May you achieve progress in accordance with the plan.
Failed to cite her work completely. I worked with presiding Bishop Orlo, you know. Now there was a serious scientician.
Welcome back, Agent. Is there some evaluation I can do for you? As I told you in my message, a splinter group was responsible for recruiting your fellow agent and tasking her to perpetrate that heresy. The conviction of those radicals was such that they elected to perish from exposure to Cloister's wilderness to avoid fouling their predictions and my interference. Their interpretation of the data was at odds with mine. I forbade them taking action, to no avail, obviously. I disavowed their actions then, as I do now. A wise leader is always open to constructive criticism. May you achieve progress in accordance with the plan.
Be the statistical exception to the natural state of entropy in the universe.
Let's pinpoint what you and I can accomplish for the Order.
inflation. Quite the big pit. Down 14% in net growth. You're supposed to squeeze blood from every contract, not put us in the red. Learn to negotiate. Biological exploitation's output is down 18%. I'm not paying professional hunters to run a petting zoo. Acquire and exploit the local... like it's your life's work. Between the rifts, aggressive rivals, and the actions of maverick freelancers, there's a lot of volatility out there right now. The market hates uncertainty. Can't say I care for it either. But I'll have no truck with the ambition to fish.
Don't let us keep you.
Respected subordinates.
Good luck, my ameliorator. Remember, you can't spell heinous ascetic without Auntie's choice.
Let us make up.
A short-range transmission just came in from Zeb. Sounded urgent. He's requesting we meet him at the tomb of the Matriarch, here on Praetor. It's where the Matriarch and First Sovereign are buried, supposedly. It's the Protectorate, Commander. What they say publicly and what is actually true ain't usually the same. Zeb left out the mission parameters, probably worried his message might be intercepted. Not unfounded, given the Protectorate presence on Praetor. He did say he'd reach out to us again if he needed help. Reckon we should take it as a compliment. Zeb doesn't trust easy. Anyway, I'd really like to go, if there's time. Much obliged. The sooner we can rendezvous at the tomb, the better. Got the sense that whatever's going down, it's happening now. Turn your lamps on that building over there. Reckon that's where we'll be able to get our hands on the rift modulator.
Protectorate control of Praetor has largely been achieved through the maintenance of a blockade. A survey of Praetor indicates there may be an alternate route past the blockade via the Automech factory.
Commander.
Unleash my might upon them!
That's one hell of a wall. Going over or under's out of the question. But what about around?
Thankfully, we've options. I recall a secret passage in the tomb of the matriarch that will see us around the blockade. It would appear another member joins the ranks of our fair ship. Well met, little rat. Lethally! This facility prevents Praetor's lightning from laying waste to all around it. At least the Order should keep it in tolerable repair. None shall stand against us!
Your execution. I see. Ready to waste them. On your command.
approach the gate and identify yourself if you're looking for access. Well, of all the improbable sights I'd never imagined to actually see, folks simply wandering around the Badlands of Praetor would be near the top of that list. I've not the mind to solve the equation that demonstrates how unlikely it is you've survived enemy combatants, hostile critters, and endless lightning in near equal measure. Is that so? Amusingly enough, I'm inclined to believe you, which means you might be just the help Exemplar Simon's been waiting for. The grounding station was built to help manage and offset the lightning that illuminates the sky and scorches the ground without pause or penance. They also used the station for a number of experiments that they ultimately lacked the capacity to complete. But, suffice it to say, we far exceeded those limitations. Nevertheless, the Exemplar is in need of help to complete his research, and our small squad lacks the manpower to provide it. But you might be the universal variable we've been waiting for. He is in the lab atop the hydraulicalized lift. Ironically, the lift was struck by lightning while the station was being reset and is stuck in its raised position. There is a trail that leads to the top. Just mind the jump onto the platform, and don't touch anything glowing, sparking, or obviously shedding lightning on your way there. And given the situation we find ourselves in, I'll be leaving the gate charged unless you're ready to pass through it. Just approach, and I'll power it down for you. If it isn't my new favorite operator. Should you ever need to exit the station, just approach the gate, and I can open it for you.
Greetings, unaffiliated individual? Could you be a freelancer? A gun for hire? Might you be interested in a job involving the removal of dangerous creatures? Oh. Without even formally accepting the job? I was expecting a greater level of excitement, but I suppose the job being completed is the most important part. I'll upgrade your permissions to allow for purchases from our supply surplus as recompense. Thank you. We shall be here, unraveling the mysteries of the universe. You're back. Do you require additional supplies for further jobs and adventuring? Incredible!
Unless you plan on conjuring ammo from the Aether, we ought to get the crafting some.
You have served us with distinction.
Hello. Come here often. Goodbye. This unit, enjoy our banter.
I understand the strategic value of holding this station, but the odds of a handful of us repelling a full-scale attack is highly dubious. It is fortunate our enemies fear these lightning towers losing control of the skies more than they wish to murder us in our sleep.
Will not improve your standing, just basic common sense.
Point dead. The turrets just went offline again. We need to get them back up before someone dances through our defenses like they're waltzing on half and quarter measures.
Oh, hello. Cogitate here often?
So, you're the mysterious individual that's caused such a stir across Arcadia? Well, it is my sincerest of pleasures to meet you. I am Exemplar Simon, head of research at this station. Please consider me your personal conduit to this meager yet profound portion of the universal equation. How may I be of service? Ah, So you're the reason I've been alerted to recalibrations. I'd wondered why some of these systems suddenly came back online. Originally, the Protectorate designed this facility to control those grounding towers, which are the only thing keeping Praetor's ceaseless lightning from turning us all into ash. And to be sure, that is the only reason Anti or the Protectorate haven't taken this place by force. They are rightly terrified of what happens if this station goes offline. However, neglect during this conflict led to Axon's shorting at 5 of the towers, causing gross misalignment. If they aren't realigned, the failures will catastrophically cascade. Wonderful. In order to recalibrate a tower, you must find the malfunctioning panel inside their control room and reset it. And to speed you along, I can offer a unique incentive. Prior to being driven from this facility, the Protectorate was exploring lightning-powered explosives. The concept was clearly beyond them, but I have already solved their errors. So with the towers aligned, I can produce a batch of the explosives they theorized, and I would happily share them with you. Indeed. When aligned, the towers fill the capacitor I've modified, which provides me with enough electrical accumulation to fabricate a handful of these explosives. Unfortunately, the capacitors are only able to hold the charge for mere moments before failing catastrophically. Thus, I'm limited in production by the 5 capacitors that remain. So, with the towers aligned, I am able to fabricate a handful of these electron explosives, the sum of which I shall share with you. That is fantastic news. I'll begin fabrication as soon as you've aligned the towers. And so, I shall have the explosives ready for you upon your return.
Ah, it's you! Prime mover of the grand plan.
You're about to enter territory controlled by Anti's choice. Act accordingly, or you'll end up as close friends with the inside of a Raptidon.
Our resident minion of Anti's would have more business with these sorts, no?
Where is the enhanced soldier? Isn't she supposed to be with you?
That reporter's gotta be nearby. Ain't keen to jump to conclusions, but I think I got a notion of what we're doing here.
I'm Orland Crawford, the outsourced but never outmatched wartime correspondent for the ACS Undisputed Claim. You must be the grafted soldier, here to show us all what you can do.
The name's Inez, and yes, Willard Conan sent me to help you with some sort of... I don't know what, exactly.
Now, let's not skip on introductions. Who is this you have with you? Oh, I see.
I appreciate the commander for saying so. I've been traveling with them for some time, following my dismissal from the forces.
Never seen a grafted trooper in action before, but I'm looking forward to watching you work. Your mission, trooper, is to capture the Protectorate blockade to the north. Their defenses are too great to face head-on, so you'll want to sneak in through the back entrance. We've obtained the entry codes through great effort.
My camera drones will be filming the action from above, so do put on a good show. Blow up a few things, and use Inez's abilities to demonstrate the might of Auntie's choice. Yes?
They've detained several of our scouts. I'd like to see them returned. If you deliver this weapons cache to them and free them, they might offer some aid in the fight.
This is quite the opportunity. Normally, a POW might be written off as shrinkage, an unfortunate, unavoidable loss. But their rescue will be worth far more in publicity.
So what? If I hadn't come along, you all would have left those troopers to rot.
Our motto is to leave no man behind, unless it breaches our contract and promises financial penalties, which this does. Now, take these codes for the back door and go.
Once you infiltrate the blockade, neutralize our foes, and open the gates, our remaining troops will move in to secure the blockade for ourselves. Any questions? The drilling crew near the chemical plant is working to punch a path through the mountains. You could use such a path, but for some reason, their job is taking longer than expected.
Or you could go through the Automech production facility north of here. But that's where the scout who brought us the codes lost his life. So proceed with caution and a loaded gun.
Though I trust you may fare better than that poor sod did, I do look forward to seeing you take the fight to the Protectorate. It's about time Auntie gave him a good walloping. Ooh, and spare some time for me after you emerge victorious, won't you? What am I saying? Of course you will! Who wouldn't want to be interviewed for the wireless? Go on now!
I should be nice to you. You'll probably be my manager someday.
lot of unfamiliar visages this side of Praetor. Our surplus is available for purchase if you're in need of something. More than happy to oblige.
Happy to assist in crafting more ammo, if you need it.
Keep making us money, friend.
You there, you came from outside the camp, didn't you? Do you have a minute to take a job? For science, of course. Interested in work, or was the allure of helping to advance science and being paid for it too much to resist? I'll get right to it then. I need someone to bring me a Gorvid egg. I'm a head biological researcher doing some fascinating and mighty important work with Gorvids. I sent my assistant off to the north with a tracking device, hoping he'd lay hands on a Gorvid egg. I desperately need that egg for my research. Could you bring me one? Oh, and bring back my assistant, too, if you find him with all his pieces still stuck together. He ain't much good for assisting in research if he's all torn up. Sound reasonable? Which of my assorted critters would you like to know about? We've got quite a pile of them here on Praetor. Excellent hunters, trackers, and shock troops. Extremely loyal, now that we have them on an all-meaty roll-ups diet. We tried them, and they were devastating for all of 12 hours. Then we found out the hard way that they're attracted to lightning, which I claim credit for discovering. Once all the queens got zapped, that was about it. There's no more real hives now, just a few wasps left in the mountains. Gorvids are absolutely fascinating. A sort of simian-avian hybrid, extremely deadly, absolutely incredible physiology. I can't wait to have an egg. The thought of being the first person to catalog the process makes me positively giddy with excitement. The profits from my next few papers are going to be incredible. Guilty as charged. My job is studying which critters we can use to fight the Protectorate here on Praetor. Right now, it's mostly raptidons, which I'd be more than happy to talk on at length if you've an interest. Excellent. Which ones? Something else, then? I sent him off with a tracking device to find a Gorvid egg. He might be out of his depth. Can you find him and bring him and the egg, or at least the egg, back for me? Almost definitely a lethal encounter with a Gorvid, ending in brutal dismemberment. That's what happened to my other 5 assistants. I know. You're absolutely right. I should have held one back to do all the grunt work. Now I have to take apart my own research station. What was I thinking? We found signs of Gorvid activity. I sent him off in hopes he could put a tracker on a Gorvid. Then we could follow it back to its nest. Should be just north from here. Something else, then? Ask away. A little free information is a small price to pay. Excellent question. There is some special process inside the egg that happens just before hatching. I need to watch this in a lab, then swoop in at the last second and dissect it. Do they have chickens where you're from? Gorvids and chickens are very alike, except Gorvids are big, strong as an automech, absolutely deadly, and will happily murder you given a chance. Likely still tasty, though. Some bits? A rather unique weapon from my time in the projectile weapon division of the biological weapons team, and most importantly, a mention in my next paper. Something else, then? Thank you! I can hardly wait to get started on that egg.
Wrangling raptidons may seem a mite dangerous, but it's a far safer endeavor than being one of Tedford's research assistants.
We shouldn't pay for a drink at a time!
Ain't this a sight? Class consciousness in action.
No more bottles on factory floors! Time for unlocked bathroom doors! If you won't let us sleep for 8, you can't charge us for stimulates!
That's right!
Others get
Keep
the exact same pay,
I can see
but
the
only
reason
work
why.
12-hour
Then we're
days!
definitely making her miserable!
We don't want
Workers are too rowdy. Door stays shut for now.
Yes!
Welcome, fellow disgruntled worker. Can't say I recognize you. You come from a different plant to support our cause? That spiteful little cur. She's up in her office imagining new ways to make us miserable. But you're gonna need to find a different way in. She's locked the doors to keep us out. Honestly, we just want to eat, sleep, and relieve ourselves on a reasonable schedule. But the damn overseer! I think she's getting rich off of breaking our backs. I ain't sure how you're gonna get in. This door is barred from the inside, and I don't think there's another way in on the ground floor.
It's the hot shot for hire.
With no rest
From the
and no
wireless.
downtime, we shouldn't pay for Adrena time! Others get the exact same pay, but only work 12-hour days! No more bottles on factory floors! Time for unlocked bathroom doors!
Ever read the Middle Manager Handbook? Really shores up the foundation of your fundamentals.
You seem like a go-getter. Let's consume lunch sometime.
Yes? The whole reason we set up here is to avoid customers. Is there something you need? See that repackaging facility down there? We're supposed to be working it, slaving away for a few meager bits that we then gotta use to pay for our own necessities. They work us like cysty pigs, charge us for the stims we need to yoke those hours, and don't let us relieve ourselves but in empty fizzy tea bottles we keep beneath our stations. So, we're making trouble until that changes. Until we get some respect. Until the privy is left open all day. Can't imagine what. Ain't like you could fix all of Auntie's Choice's hierarchy by your own self. I don't think you could even change this one dumpish overseer ruining our lives. Now, if you'll excuse me. Working hard or hardly working? That's
Sorry.
rhetorical.
Time is bits. Bits is time. Or are, that is. Have a profitable day.
This ain't like any negotiation I ever been a part of. Not that I've been part of many.
If you won't let us sleep for 8, you can't charge us for stimulates!
Machines have been off for a week. Can't believe what I'm losing on adrenatime and antiphysos numrum.
Avoid the strike. They should be after blood.
Welcome to Auntie's Fine Product Revitalization Center, where we create tomorrow's brands today. I assume you are the disruption ameliorator from home office? It was about damn time you got here. This labor stoppage has put us almost a full week behind schedule and is making me look quite the fool. Unsophisticated, impertinent, dim-witted. You'll fit right in with my peons. So, maybe it'll make sense to you when they babble about basic dignity and human rights. It should go without saying that such flights of fantasy have no place inside Auntie's Choice. And if we were still in Tau Ceti, they would face grave consequences.
I reckon she's got her wires crossed. Basic dignity is what Auntie's Choice promised us when we signed up, so long as we were good at our work. And while we might have faced grave consequences back on Tau Ceti, it was under old management, who were trounced rather thoroughly in the end, I might add.
Nevertheless, here we must focus on getting these ingrates back to work and remind them that they're damn lucky to have Auntie's Choice to dedicate their lives to. Absolutely. These lugs have been positively exalted in the good fortune of rising to their limited station within the meritocracy that Auntie has derived for us. Why? Can Can you imagine suffering under the yoke of a sovereign's rule? Or floundering at the ridiculous direction of those claiming to know the future by way of math? No. Only within Auntie's choice can these drudges achieve genuine prominence. If they exhibit excessive dedication, they may even earn some modicum of the success I have enjoyed. You're asking me? That clearly is your domain. Running this invaluable facility on Angie's behalf is mine. As a managerial administrativist, and when I say I, it is critical that you understand that as director of this facility, I should effectively be treated as though I were an executive. Is that clear? Well, there's no call for rudeness. It's unnecessary, unprofessional, and distracts us from the important business that I have the direct authority to dispatch you upon. This plant relabels dated items with new Auntie's Choice trademarks and slogans. It is critical to keeping revitalized products on the shelf for consumers hungry for something new. So, the workers may be unhappy, but they must realize their comfort is a distant second to Auntie's delivery schedule. Or in short, they need to get back to work. My workers are striking people now? How very alarming. We must resolve this before things get even further out of hand. They've appointed some kind of leader, and he's the one you have to talk to. His name is, Dummy? No, that's not right. Dunce? Dummer? Dumbly? Dunbar. It's Dunbar. If I'm honest, my gaze is purely focused up the ladder, not down it. I am a very important upper, middle, lower manager, and the way I advance that status scantily involves learning the names and faces of my peons. Their value is in providing their minuscule contribution to this mighty and prestigious corporation. And by providing their maximal effort, they allow me to ascend, vacating this position so that one of their undistinguished masses can fill it, thereby becoming distinguished. Well, that's all fine and good in your system. But here in Arcadia, it is Auntie's needs we cater to, and right now, her need is you convince Dumbly Dunbar to get back to work. I believe he has demands, but I can't be bothered to remember what they were. They alter the generous terms Auntie offers, and so are egregious and should be rejected. You will find him up on the landing pad with some of his minions. Go help him understand the situation so everyone can get back to work. That clear? Yes, well, I'm sure you'll manage. Auntie has faith in you. Therefore, I shall too. Best of luck to you. Remember that your actions don't just reflect on you, you are also representing me, which is to say, you are also representing Auntie. Do us proud.
No more bottles on factory floors! Time for unlocked bathroom door!
Welcome back, Ameliorator. Did you make contact with workers? Do they understand that this stoppage is madness? Are they ready to return? Well, be quick about it, damn you. Every hour that passes is profit I'm losing.
If you won't let us sleep for 8, you can't charge us for stimulates!
ain't aiming to seem rude, but I got a lot to deal with right now. Unless this is mighty important, I'll respectfully ask to be left to my business. Settle my complaints? How exactly you planning that? Auntie's got to prioritize worker prosperity over productivity. What we've got now is poor labor retention techniques. What's going on is, remind me again?
An inhospitable occupational environment that ignores worker safety and health concerns.
Right, that. Right, exactly. The conditions under which Auntie extracts our labor is, unacceptable. They're egregious, even.
They work 20-hour shifts, which require stims to endure that are charged at a premium. Adrena time is actually cheaper on the undisputed claim than it is here. And if that inhuman brutality isn't enough to offend basic decency, they're also barred from using the restroom throughout the business day. Their 20-hour business day. It is an unconscionable condition to keep these workers in. I can't imagine how hard it is for them to coordinate their daily duties. No, I'm just a fellow underling suffering the corporate grind who saw the plight of these poor folk and needed to help them make a fair and reasonable deal.
That's right. Leo has been an absolute wealth of what's what. Without him, we would still be toiling
under the yoke of oppressive undervaluation due to monstrous mismanagement.
Right, that.
Me? Why, my only motivation is...
Now hold it right there. We aren't here to talk about Leo. We're here to talk about what it's going to take to make us get back to work, right? Our shifts need to be reduced to 12 hours a day. 4 hours of personal time ain't even enough to rest, much less get any actual living done. Second, if we gotta work those long hours, we want free Adrena time. Bad enough it's making everything taste like we're gnawing nickel pads. Having to pay for the pleasure's too far. Finally, we want all-day bathroom access. Expecting us to fit our necessities into the same 4 hours is just mean. Plus, between us, most folk ain't, if you get my meaning. Thank you for your trying. I don't know if we'll get it all, but every bit you add makes some part of our lives a whole lot easier.
Welcome back, Ameliorator. Auntie and I continue to have high hopes that you will come to shine under the spotlight of our illustrious gaze. So, are you ready to impress us? So, what are these ingrate alley sprats willing to settle for? Golden privies and gilded sheets to be spoon-fed crunch whenever their tummies rumble? 8-hour workdays? 12 hour? Are they mad? What are they gonna do with the other half of the day? Lounge around the facility consuming air and water and power without compensating the company? I am, frankly, disappointed you would even bring me such a preposterous demand. You should have nipped this offensive arrogance in the bud. I suppose that's true. It wouldn't take much to put enough pep in their proverbial step to make up for 2 lost hours. Their overall productivity might even improve. That would translate into more profit for the plant, which means larger bonuses for me, which should be more than enough to make up for the drop in hourly production. All right, you've convinced me. What else do they want? Free? Free? Nothing inside of Auntie's Choice is free. Law, nothing in life is free. Everything has a cost. Everything. Materials, labor, time, distribution, forced scarcity. Giving something away for free is akin to ignoring the cost of its creation, which is one small step from the system completely breaking down and plunging us all into anarchy. What in the void are you talking about? My greed is certainly doing no such thing. What? No! I would never! That's slander. And or libel. And you can't prove a thing. Well, fuck. That's quite the rub, isn't it? All right, what do you want? All right, though I don't know why you'd waste this capital leverage on benefits for strangers. I suppose you've got your reasons. Is there more they ask? They want to relieve themselves on company time? I've never heard something so preposterous. Can you imagine how many bits that loss of productivity will cost us? What if they lounge? What if they take time to relax? What if they retreat to indulge their baser urges? Auntie would be paying for all manner of unprofitable shenanigans. Somewhere? That actually explains the odor in storage room 3. I never imagined they might be... I'll get the door unlocked immediately. And cleaning crews dispatched. What more do they want? Very good. Ha! I was going to say very good, but that would be downright farcical. There is nothing good about this situation. Please, just resolve it as quickly as possible.
Hello again. Do you have news for us about the negotiations? That's as fine a place to start as any. What did that tyrant have to say for herself? She willing to see reason? Well, that certainly is disappointing. But I suppose we'll manage. An extra 2 hours off a day will make life a little easier, at least. What's next? Excellent. What progress have you made? Well, I can't begin to tell you what a relief that is. By which I mean, that's great news. It'll be such a load off. A most promising development. How go the other hurdles of the negotiation? She willing to see reason? Free? Really? Why, I'd surely have lost that bet. I figured we'd ask for free and settle for wholesale. You're a miracle worker. Well, you have done exceptionally well by us, my new friend. With these new conditions, we'll return to work with vigor rather than dread. Thank you.
Damn! I really felt like I was close to signing all of you, and I needed that recruitment bonus. I don't know how I'm going to afford my hair creme now, but I'll get him next time. And he won't always have you working her angles for her. And her usual agents don't stand a chance against me.
Next time? Against you? What in law's name are you saying? Sometimes you talk so odd it don't sound like you're Auntie's choice at all.
Yeah, I was starting to have the same thought.
It don't matter. All that matters is my working conditions have just improved mightily. Thanks to you, stranger. Now, if you'll excuse us, we're gonna get back to work.
Going back to work under Auntie's choice ain't exactly my idea of success, but at least I'll have better terms to labor under now.
The workers have returned and production has resumed. Wonderful work, our disruption ameliorator. I do wish it had gone more smoothly, but I understand you did what you must. I have already informed the Home Office, and with it, put in an extra sprinkling of mild praise directly with Auntie. She will, no doubt, be excited to learn of my approval. You may tell the executives that dispatched you that you have done an adequate job. Under my keen supervision, of course.